Hi, welcome to the Film Pigs on Geek Nation. This is the only web series about the movies that dares to ask hard-hitting questions like, hey, you remember that Marlon Brando actor? What the hell was up with that guy?
Whoop, whoop.
We're the Film Pigs. I'm Todd Anderson, your host this time, and that's Steve Skelton. He's a film pig.
Yes.
And that's Steve Falk. He's also a film pig. And this is Popcorn.
Yay.
Which we clink together at the beginning of the shows.
And clanks.
Happy
Yay!
Popcorn times.
Well, it's a week since we did our last show.
Oh, it's been so long.
I know. It's so good to see you guys again. So we're going to do these things we call rash judgments. Now, there's a lot of movies coming out in
God,
the
yeah.
multiplexes. And how do you know which ones to go to and
How
which
could you
ones not to go to?
possibly know?
You listen to us. Have we seen the movies?
No.
No, we haven't. But we're going to tell you anyway. Why? Because we're assholes. Steve Skelton, what's your rash judgment?
Chef. It's for Chef.
It's for Chef.
It's
You didn't know from
for a second I couldn't remember. It's from Jon Favreau. And
Jumanji.
Jumanji. It's Chef.
Iron Man
This is
2.
this is like I think
Right?
this is like the movie
what-
that Favreau sold after Marvel said, "Hey, your quote's too high now because you made us successful, and we have to pay Robert Downey Jr., but we can just replace you because you're the director."
Well, he was producer on Iron Man 3.
Well, yeah, they gave him that credit, of course.
Yeah.
So Chef.
Well, I think he was hesitant about doing Iron Man 3 because they had a script. And he likes to shoot without one.
Maybe, be that as it may. Chef, it's Jon Favreau. He's starring in it. He's a chef who is
Is the way Steve is looking
Wants
at you
to-
bothering you at all?
who wants to cook food his own way, but the man who's I think Dustin Hoffman. I think it's Dustin Hoffman who's like, I own the restaurant, and you cook my menu, chef. And the chef goes, no way, I'm gonna get a taco truck. And then he gets a taco truck, and then there's family values, and there's good feelings, and then
I love good feelings.
Good feelings, that's what's selling
and lots
on
of
this.
food, and Scarlett Johansson, and Robert Downey Jr., and Sofia Vergara, and
she gives me good feelings.
yeah, and
Leguizamos.
and
Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo,
John Leguizamo.
and the crazy clown from Spawn, and I don't know. I mean, this.
Nobody's gonna know that reference.
I mean, this is like it's a Favreau vehicle. It's a Favreau kind of like, I guess, pet project is what it feels like.
It's a taco truck project.
Yeah, it's a taco truck project, but it also kind of feels like it's like, hey, here's a pet project that a studio will buy because it's all about food and foodies and stuff, which is
Yeah.
the thing. I don't care.
Okay. So Steve Skelton says he does not give a shit about Chef. Steve Falk, how you doing, buddy? How you feeling? You feeling good?
Do you live in a house?
No way.
Do you have neighbors?
Ugh,
Do you have trouble with them?
the worst.
Then you'll love Neighbors. This is a comedy. Seth Rogen and his wife Rose Byrne, they live in a house. And oh my God, who moves in next door to them? A fraternity.
That's
Yeah,
outrageous.
it's Zac Efron and the lesser Franco, Dave, and they have a frat. And Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne have a baby. And they're like, you need to quiet down, frat. And the frat's like, screw you, old people. And so then they have a war. They get in a war with a frat.
Frat war.
The
And
neighbors getting a war?
Yeah. Neighbors get in a war. It's directed by some guy.
It's like that old movie with Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi.
Very much like that.
It was called Neighbors.
Right.
Oh, Neighbors with
John Belushi.
and Dan Aykroyd.
Right. Well, they just said twice. So it looks mildly amusing. Will I see it? Probably very much not. However,
What?
there's no however. Don't see Neighbors.
All right, there you have it.
That sounds like it's a Nobers
Yeah, no
for
kidding.
Neighbors.
Steve Falk says no on Neighbors. He says no on Chef. That leaves The Land of Oz, The Return of Dorothy, an animated family picture.
Oh wait, are you actually doing this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
What is this?
It's it's the latest Wizard of Oz movie since that thing with James Franco, where they made like a dull douchebag the center of attention. But now they're bringing Dorothy back, but she's animated. You guys are super close in my space. She's animated, and she goes on a new adventure. I looked at the trailer. The animation looks kind of cheesy. But you never know with these animated shows. There's a lot of stars doing voices in this, like Patrick Stewart and other people. And it's really important to have stars in your animated movie because otherwise it's going to suck. You know, even though you can't see their faces, their voices make it. They make a good animated movie. Anyway, if you have kids, you should maybe go see it or just go to see the Lego movie again. I don't care.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome. All right, that's Rash Judgments.
Hey!
That's Rash Judgments. Which brings us to the part of the show where we go to a mid-segment.
Oh, the mid-segment.
This mid-segment is a very, very popular feature, recurring feature here on the Film Pigs that we're doing for the first time. It's called Film Pigs Anecdotes.
Wow, that sounds really interesting, Todd.
Yeah, anecdotes, if you don't know, are stories.
I thought it was when you get bit by a snake and you need something to put on it.
I need an
Put on an
anecdote.
anecdote.
Yeah.
My leg is swelling up. I need an anecdote.
This week's anecdotes are about weird trips to the movies. And all the Film Pigs are going to tell you a fun anecdote about going to the movies that will cure your rattlesnake bite. So please watch these anecdotes. Roll it!
I'm Camden Singer, and I was not asked to do the episode, but I was asked to say an anecdote. So I was on the internet dating world for quite a while, and I met this great guy, and we had this really awesome date. So our third date, he wanted to spend some time with me, but there was a basketball game going on. So he didn't really tell me about that, and I thought, well, we're gonna go see a movie, so let's have something to eat near a place that has the basketball game on it. Figuring 2 birds, 1 stone, sounds great. So we are waiting for the movie, we've got our tickets, we're all excited, we're kind of googly-eyed, and the basketball game comes on, and I am continuing to have a conversation with him when he turns to me and screams at me, "Shut the fuck up, I'm watching the fucking game!" And I thought, odd, first of all, because it's our third date, and I thought we were working out kind of well. And we still had many hours to go, because I also went to his house so he could drive us both. So after he screamed at me and I cowered, we decided to continue to the movie because I didn't have a ride home. So we went to the movie, no idea what the movie was. We sat very far apart, his hands on one side, though he was tapping, trying to see if he could get closer to me and also try to coddle me in some way, and I was not having any of that. After the movie, he decided to show me Barnes & Noble, one of the books that he was in, and that happened to be the last time I saw him. Anecdote.
Hello. Anecdote.
Anecdote!
I went and saw Martin Scorsese's Casino. And I went to the theater, and I went to it was after 10 p.m. It was a 10 p.m. showing of Martin Scorsese's Casino. And I like Scorsese. And this was back when Scorsese was still kind of on his game. And so Casino looks great, awesome. Sit down, lights dim, just as the previews are starting, a family comes into the theater and into the road directly in front. And this is a family, it's like husband, wife, and at a 10-year-old child, I'm assuming a 5-year-old child, and an infant. At a 10 p.m. screening of Martin Scorsese's Casino. When Joe Pesci is being beaten to death with a baseball bat, the baby starts crying. Anecdote.
Hey, I got an anecdote for your snake bite. I was 16 and a half. Only 6 months away from being 17 and it being okay for me to go to R-rated movies without an adult guardian. But I really wanted to see the most important movie of all time, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. It's a Rennie Harlan joint. So I went to the theater with my friends, and we went to the theater in Natick, Massachusetts that I knew didn't check IDs very much. And they all got in line, and they didn't check any of their IDs, but when I got up to the box office, the old lady, she was an old bat, she checked my ID, and then she wouldn't let me in, and I yelled at her. I said, "You let all my friends in? This is crap!" And she said, "Sorry," and I was like, "Fuck." So then me and one of my friends worked it out that he'd go into the theater and then come right out with his ticket stub, and I would be in the bathroom and he'd give me his ticket stub and I'd show it to the usher and he'd let me in. If my friend, went immediately back in, he'd remember my friend wouldn't check his stub, and then I'd have the stub and he could see my stub. And so I went through all that trouble and I got in to see Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Dream Master, and there was this 8-foot motherfucking guy sitting in front of me through the whole thing and I couldn't see it. I spent the whole movie doing this, and then when I walked out, I was even angrier than when the lady ID'd me because I couldn't see the fucking movie. And when I walked out in the parking lot, I looked back, I said, "Guys, you won't believe this, the whole movie, I couldn't see it because that giant 8-foot guy was in front of me." And then I saw the 8-foot guy walking out of the theater, and it was Robert Parrish, the center from the Boston Celtics. It was the 80s. Mold. Anecdote.
Hey there, here's my anecdote. In my dark days, I went and saw a double feature of Dave and Indecent Proposal, and I brought in a 6-pack because it was the middle of the day and I didn't have a job, and I sat through Dave, and it was funny. And I really had to pee because I drank 6 beers, but I knew there were a lot of titties in Indecent Proposal, and so I didn't want to get up and leave. And then I kept waiting for the titties. I really had to pee, so I took my empty cup that I was pouring beers into and tried to pee into it, but I was sitting down front, and there were a bunch of people behind me, and I didn't want to move too much, and so I kind of peed all over my pants, and then I just sat in my pee.
Well, there you have it. Those were the anecdotes. I don't know how are your rattlesnake bites? Are they feeling better?
So.
Everyone's cured of their sickness. Well, it's been a fun show, I think. We introduced ourselves at the top of the show. I said who everybody was, and then we clinked our glasses with the popcorn, we do.
Yeah, we did a little bit
and
of that.
then we did Rash Judgments, and he did his on Chef.
Yeah.
And he didn't like it.
No.
And he did his on Neighbors, and he said, "Fuck off." And I did mine on the Dorothy Oz show, and I said, "Hey, James Franco, fuck off." And then we told anecdotes that cured rattlesnake bites, and now we're wrapping it up. Folks.
Nicholas Stoller.
Nicholas Stoller.
Nick Stoller directed it.
Directed what?
Neighbors.
The one with Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi?
Yes.
Until next time, the concession stand is closed due to health code violations. Thanks for watching.
They can't all be winners, folks.